Hey you guys, welcome back to another cake video from my cake world. Today's video I'll show you how to cake this mask here. This was my Halloween centerpiece for this year. In this video I'll show you how to carve a cake, how to ganache it, how to add details with either ganache or modeling paste, how to paint it with lots of tips and easy steps you can follow for you to make your own. Alright, let's get started. I have a vanilla sponge that I have baked the day before. It's well chilled, and you need a less of a crummy or a bit of a dense cake and not too soft when it comes to carving. I have printed out my image to the size that I want. It's about 33 by 30 centimeters in size. Keeping the image against the cake, cutting around it to get the basic shape. And on the template, I'm gonna cut where all the main features are, like the mouth, where around the nose, the eye sockets. And on my reference picture, there's different levels of layers, different heights to the cake. So I'm marking all of those for me to start carving. I'm roughly marking or dividing this into 3 sections. Most of the height is in the center of the face. So I'm stacking my cake of cuts to get the height I need. I'm using buttercream. If your cake is soft or if you have a complicated design, you can use ganache to make it more sturdy so that it is easier for you to carve. Once I finish with stacking my cake, it goes in the fridge to chill for a couple of hours before I start carving. Okay, to start carving, I'm keeping the template that I made against the cake. I've already marked the main features on the template, so I'm just cutting into the cake using those marks on the template. I'm hollowing out the mouth, eye sockets, and my face has a round shape, carving around it first to get the shape right and then moving on to inner details. Here around my nose towards the cheeks, there's sort of a slope. So I'm slowly carving around my nose, keeping the height of the nose as it is, and I'm carving towards the eye sockets. Now, couple of notes to remember here. It's always good to use a template, especially if your design is complicated or if you are new to carving a cake. Using a template will make it easier. Mark all your key features, different layers on the template, and then transfer it to the cake. When you start carving, mark the immediate point, the highest point on the design, and make your way to the furthest. Use a small carving knife and remove very little at a time. Make sure when you're carving a cake or sculpting, it's always good to have a reference picture in all angles so that you don't miss out on any details or on the shape. Once everything is finished and once I'm done with carving, I'm gonna cover it with a layer of ganache and then chill it for half an hour, and then we are ready for the next step. As you can see here, there's a slight angle lift near the eyebrow area, so I'm gonna build that layer with some ganache. When you are adding details, the smaller delicate ones you can make them with ganache, but the bulkier ones you can either use fondant or you can do it with modeling paste. Now for this cake here, I got some snake heads that are poking up like 3D, and for that and for the lip and the mouth, I'm using modeling paste to build those details. Alright, when I'm done adding all of my details, I move on to cleaning and defining the features using my tools. Here I'm using palette knife and bowling tool, and I'm trying to achieve a smooth surface on the cake and try to define even the tiniest details. Once I'm happy with that, put that in the fridge to chill for a while before I cover it with fondant. Once I cover my cake with fondant, I'm going to use my tools and my fingertips to sort of smooth and rub over on the surface of the fondant. I'm getting my tools and I'm working on those tiniest details that I made with ganache. I'm working on those to make sure those are visible and shown through the fondant. I rolled out my fondant a bit thinner. Depending on your design, you can decide the thickness of the fondant. But if you have a very delicate tiny features, details, make sure you roll out your fondant thinner so that the details are shown through the fondant. So we've come to the final step, painting the whole cake. Now I wanted to airbrush this because the reference face sort of had that effect, but I soon realized it was too much of work and I had to cut the template into tiniest piece to get that effect. So I switched to painting with my brushes. Now I have done several videos showing you how to paint on buttercream and on fondant. I'll put the links in the description box. Please do check that out. Keep your brush clean. Do not drench it with water. Try to keep a clean, dry brush. When you're mixing your color, dilute with either clear alcohol or lemon extract because those dry up faster than water. Now, when you're applying layers, apply the first layer of color, let it dry, and then go with the second layer. I always enjoy painting on cakes. It's sort of therapy and mind relaxing time for me. So don't rush it, just enjoy. And if you make a mistake while painting, use a cotton swab with clear alcohol, clean that area, let it dry, and then you can go back and paint again. This part here I didn't like it much because my design had a lot of snake heads, and with that came a lot of bellies with tiny thin lines to draw. In fact, my whole design had thin lines to draw, and it was testing my patience. I was getting reckless with having to draw so many tiny lines. So this is how I did it. I'm showing you how to hold your paintbrush. Hold it straight up. Gently glide the tip of your brush to paint. Don't hold it on an angle. That'll give you thicker lines. Okay, you guys, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a few things along the way. I'll see you soon with another one. Until then, take care, you guys.